Hello, in this tutorial I'm going to show you step by step how you can go about making a shadow that is knocked out. So like when I move this, all I have left is the shadow for your design. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to move this over to the side and let's get started. So the first thing that you're going to want to start with is some sort of design that is all one element. And when I say one element, you're going to want to look over here on your layers panel and you're going to want to see, is it a group or is it a compound path? In order for this to work, it has to be in a compound path. And the shortcut for that on a PC is Control 8. If you're on a Mac, it's Command 8. And that just ensures that you only have two elements of your particular item. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. So that's step number one, is to make sure you've got everything in a compound path that you want a shadow for. The second thing you're going to do is you are going to create a copy of this directly on top of your other design. So you're going to just click on Control C, copy, and then Control F. And that means that you put a copy of that item directly on top. And if you look over here in your layers panel, you can see you've got two of the exact same item right there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click on one of them and we're just going to arrow over a little bit. Now, right now they are both black. So I'm going to change one of them just to a red color so that we can see, but it doesn't matter what color you change it to. But now you can really start to see that shadow. And here is where, if you feel like that's too far over, this is where, you know, if you want a shadow up, you want the shadow down, whatever angles you want it at, this is where you can adjust that. And the way that you adjust that is you just click on that layer that's in front, that group, and you push the arrow key and you move it around to wherever it is that you want it to go. Now, at this point, if you notice, it's still two solid words. You can absolutely save it like that and then splice it and, you know, cut it within your cutting software. But if you want to prepare your file so that it is ready for you to be able to already not layer, let me show you how you're going to go about doing that. The first thing that you're going to do is you need a copy of this top layer here. So this blue one, we're going to do the same thing we did before, and we're just going to do Control C and Control F because that places a second copy of that exact design directly on top of the other item. Now notice they are both still in compound paths. For this to work, they both have to be in compound paths. I know I said that earlier, but that's a huge piece of the puzzle here. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that one item is selected. That's what this blue dot means. And then we're going to hold down Shift and we're going to select the layer that is in the back, the item that's in the back, I should say, not layer, because they're all in the same layer. But we're going to select the black layer, the actual shadow in the background. And then we're going to go to Properties, and we're going to go to our Pathfinder tool. And if that is not showing up for you, you can go to Window Pathfinder right there, and it will pop up. And we're going to use the minus the front. And when we do that, it looks like, well, nothing happened here. What happened? But what it did was it took that second blue layer that we just added and it minused it away from the rest of the black. And so now we have our cutout. But we have one more step that we need to do in order for this to be ready to open. In Silhouette Studio, it'll open properly and cut fine, but in Cricut Design Space, each one of these items, because now they're only grouped and they're not a compound path, will become a separate item and they'll get all mixed up on your mat unless you attach it. So the best thing to do is to select that back shadow and to click on Control 8 and to make that a compound path as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line these up first, and then I'm going to use this to select over here, and I'm going to do that Control 8 and make it into a compound path. And now I've got my beautiful shadow. I don't have to worry about layering at all. So that's how to create shadows. If you're curious on how to create these really cool glyphs that go with those designs, check out our other video here on the channel. And otherwise, I will see you back in the next tutorial. Bye.